Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since I've made a Walking Dead video, but there hasn't been a lot to talk about, but I did find some articles, so let's get into it and talk about them. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since we did a Walking Dead video, but we haven't had a whole lot to talk about. However, I did find some articles on ScreenRant, and I'm going to go over them with my good buddy Colt. He's a new creator, but it would mean a lot to me if you could show him some love. I have his YouTube channel pulled up. Hey Colt, if you want to just jump in and tell everybody about your channel.
Hi, I'm Colt X12, and my channel is basically just about The Walking Dead, or I sometimes do Fortnite or some Dead by Daylight content. So just basically anything that involves, like horror or anything related to that, I'm all in for that.
Guys, he has some killer shorts about The Walking Dead. If you haven't checked him out, you need to. He's one of my favorite Walking Dead creators. And Colt, I also have the link to your TikTok, if you want to talk about that before we get into the video.
Okay, yeah. My TikTok is The Walking Dead Prodigy, and I have like 628 followers or something on that. And it's basically mainly just Walking Dead stuff. I have some Stranger Things stuff on there, but it's mainly The Walking Dead, and I have probably my highest viewed video is 7,000 views or something like that. But yeah, if you guys want to check it out, feel free.
So as you can see, we're going to call this Dead Talk, and I'm going to, maybe Colt can join me once a week and we can do this together. We're just going to talk about things that I found or things that he finds that we think are interesting. And we found an article on ScreenRant. I'm going to bring it up for you right now. It says Daryl Dixon season 2 can't ignore the 3-year-old zombie outbreak mystery season 1 forgot about. What do you think about that headline, Colt?
That's like a pretty good headline. Like it's pretty crazy how it started like 3 years and then Rick, vanished after that 3-year span.
Oh yeah. I hope we do get like an origin story. That would be really neat for the virus. I mean, I know Robert Kirkman. I don't know if you know this or not, but Kirkman, he's the guy who created The Walking Dead. He was asked one time and he said it was like a spore from a asteroid or something. I may have that wrong. Have you heard that, Colt?
I have not heard that.
I think that's what I read. Of course, I read a ton of stuff about a ton of shows, so I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, guys, somebody let me know in the comments. I know you will. Do you want to read some of this, Colt, or do you want me to start? Or
you can start.
Okay. At some point, The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon season 2 will need to address the outbreak mystery, which remains one of the franchise's biggest loose ends. Though shows like Fear the Walking Dead have depicted the early days of the zombie apocalypse in the Walking Dead timeline, key questions continue to swirl around how it really started. Over the years, shows in the Walking Dead universe have danced around the situation, with Daryl's new adventure in France marking that what may be the franchise's easiest path to clearing it up. So yeah, I this isn't like 100% confirmed. This is just what this reporter who wrote the article thinks. So I want to say that before we get into it. So what do you think about that, Colt?
Yeah, I think it's I think that's going to be like a really cool start maybe to the season 2.
Yeah, so I kind of picture it being like something that was created in a lab, maybe like some kind of biological warfare. When you think about The Walking Dead, how do you think it started?
I think it started with somebody trying to create maybe some sort of military weaponized thing, but then it broke out and and just spiraled backwards.
So we're kind of thinking in the same way. Hey guys, if you're watching this part of the video, let us know what you think happened. How do you think it started? I'm going to go on down a little bit more to Daryl Dixon season 2 can't ignore the zombies outbreak connection to France. So what do you think about that?
I think that's pretty crazy. I would never thought it was France that ever started. I would have thought maybe, with the show, first stating in the US, that maybe it would have been the US that created it instead of France.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, that's what I would think too, because, the show really takes place in the United States until we got to Daryl Dixon, and how, it would have had to have been transported for it to be in France and be in the United States, because it's not like the zombies are gonna, or the walkers are gonna swim across the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like maybe they were transported either by boat or, plane. It would have been one of those, obviously, but either that or maybe it was airborne. Maybe at the first start, maybe it was airborne, and it was, like how in season 4 we saw how everybody was getting sick and was dying of that airborne virus or whatever that was going around.
That is a really good point. I didn't think about that. Good job. You think should I read this part of the article here?
Yeah, you can do it.
While the series has yet to delve into it, the setting of the series makes one crucial fact hard to forget. France is where the outbreak first began. This detail stems from the World Beyond Season 2 finale's closing scene, which used a cameo from Dr. Jenet to drop this big reveal. I remember that. Did you see that?
I did not see the World Beyond. I don't know. I just could never get into it, I guess.
Well, I'll admit it was kind of hard for me to watch too, because I wanted something with Rick at that time. I was still kind of angry about how, like, I know they warned us and they told us that it was going to happen, but I was still pretty mad that Rick was gone, and I was mad that Carl was gone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I was more mad about Carl being gone than even Rick, just because Carl was the whole reason why The Walking Dead had even started in the first place, because, after Rick got out of the hospital, he was looking for his son, and he found his son in the 3rd episode of season 1. And then after that, it was kind of just like them surviving, like, the show was supposed to be. And then it kind of turned into them fighting people rather than zombies until, the whole thing with Alpha and all them began, which, was right after, Carl had passed away and the thing with the Saviors had went on.
Yeah, I was just so angry whenever they killed Carl off. But yeah, I mean, so if it started in France, it had to get to the United States. So they have to answer that question. If they're gonna talk about that it started in France, then they have to tell us how it got to the United States.
Yeah, I think they should tell us like how long before the first person in America, got infected or something like that.
Yeah. And
kind of like COVID.
Yeah, I agree. I want see. I'm a lore junkie, so I want to know how everything happened. Okay, so now we have Daryl Dixon season 2's Villian Can Explain its outbreak mysteries, and that's a good point. I could really see that. That's where it needs to come from, because someone has to know these things.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if we'll see like another villain other than other than her, if we'll find out if she was truly, a part of the CRM, or if she just, knew them.
Yeah, I mean, I would feel like there has to be some kind of connection between Madame Jenet, is that her name?
Yeah, that's her name. And Madame Jenet or something.
Yeah, I think there has to be some connection between her and the CRM, or, I mean, we know that there was a connection from what they talk. I know you didn't see it, but in the World Beyond, we see do you remember Dr. Jenner?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so we see a scene in the very last scene of World Beyond. Dr. Jenner is back, and it's before everything happened, and he's talking to someone. I don't know what you would call the France's CDC, but he's talking to someone there, and they say something like it started, or and it makes you think that it's some kind of experiment. I can't remember everything that's said because it's been so long, and that was not my favorite show in the Walking Dead universe.
Yeah, and I wonder if she was part of the reason of why it actually had all started, whether it was actually, some other scientist that started, or if she was a part of, the people that started it in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, because she definitely knows about doing the variant, making the variant walkers that are not natural. Because I think in the show, I think you have variant walkers who are manufactured like what Madame Jenet does. But I also think that you have natural variants that kind of like grow or mutate. And I think that's, because what we see with Madame Jenet in season 1 of Daryl Dixon is very different than what we saw in the end of the main show, The Walking Dead, with the zombies climbing things, or the walkers climbing things.
Yeah, and it was kind of weird how we first saw the first kind of variant walker, I think season 1, episode 1 or maybe even episode 2, I can't remember for sure, with Morgan's wife twisting the doorknob.
That's right. And
then it wasn't until later that they didn't even show it again about any variant walkers till way farther in the future.
But when you think about it, what was the episode? Was it Tell It to the Frogs, where we see Rick and he's in the downstairs of the big building and one of the walkers tries to break the glass with a rock?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like where he and Andrea are in the downstairs. It seems like there's a walker that tries to break the glass with like the door with a rock, and then later we see that where when Daryl has taken Judith to the after Judith got shot, and the walkers are breaking in. Don't we see a walker trying to break a window with something? I don't remember if it was a rock or not.
Yeah, I think it was a rock.
Yeah.
And then we saw a walker trying to climb up a car, and that was one of my TikTok videos I made about that too.
Oh, really? Tell me about it.
So I just like seeing the thing, like the video from from watching the show and stuff, and I figured that would kind of be a cool thing to put in because that was the first time we had seen a variant walker in a long time in the show. Apart from when earlier in the show, one was trying to hit Jerry with a rock behind him when he climbed up.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
side of that thing or whatever it was. It was like that building or whatever. And so I just saw that part, and Deegan was like, "What the heck?" And like looking at that, and I had put like Rick from The Ones Who Live in it, kind of like seeing it if it was him, like acting like it was him instead of the walker that was going up that.
I'll have to go back and check it, guys. You need to check that out. All right, so we're going to look at this next part of this article. It says, what mysteries The Walking Dead still needs to answer about France. Elaborating on humanity's creation of the zombie virus and The Walking Dead can lead to a number of major discoveries, as World Beyond revealed. A group of scientists called the Primrose Team had something to do with the outbreak, but was in Ohio when it happened. Exactly where they fit into it needs to be explored in depth in Daryl Dixon. Same goes for the Violet Team, which World Beyond also connected to the incident. There's also the matter of the faction that was attacking these scientists in the World Beyond. It's been 3 years, yet the franchise still hasn't advanced this plotline. It appears that some new group is targeting the people who allegedly caused the outbreak. But who are they, and how much they know has yet to be made clear. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2 has the opportunity to change that, and in the process explain what the scientists were trying to accomplish and how they made the problem worse, as stated in World Beyond. So what do you think about that, Colt?
So let's go back to where it says like Ohio, like of like when the outbreak, happened in Ohio or whatever. That's where the Commonwealth is, I think, is actually in Ohio.
That's interesting.
So I thought that was kind of crazy that maybe they could be, related to maybe what happened too.
That would be really interesting. And we never knew who Hornsby was talking about. When he said something like, without me, something about like our group, or something when he was talking to Pamela, something about how he was needed to make that go between. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I wonder if that was with Primrose.
Yeah, I wonder if it was. It actually might have been.
Yeah, because it had. I mean, I don't think that they established that there was a connection between the CRM and Hornsby. And Hornsby was talking about someone. Some group that was powerful enough to, I'm sorry, some group that was powerful enough to like thrive even after the apocalypse.
Yeah, so I wonder if he was actually talking about the CRM, and because he said he had intel or people that he knew.
Yeah. And what was the fake Stephanie, that worked for him?
Mm-hmm.
We never found out what happened to her.
Like after the thing with Eugene happened, we never saw anything of her.
Yeah, so I wonder if she was actually a member of Primrose or maybe a member of the CRM that we just haven't seen that connection yet. I mean, that's possible.
Yeah, it very is possible.
But what I find interesting about that is that the group of scientists called Primrose, who were apparently from France, because it started in France, and if they were part of it, then they had to have something to do with it. But they were in Ohio when it happened. So could this Primrose team have released this in the United States? That would kind of how we were talking earlier. It had to come from somewhere. That's kind of a connection there.
Like, I wonder if it had something to do with the people, in Maine too, that, had the boat that went over to France,
Yeah.
And, they were taking the variant walkers, because they had variant walkers on that from, I don't know, like how they even got variant walkers, transported over to France when Daryl was on that boat or whatever. It must have been from the Primrose team. That had actually, created those variant walkers too.
So there's really still a lot of stuff that we don't have answers to.
Well, yeah, and especially not like only, like France, but like everywhere else in the world. Like there's got to be something else everywhere else.
Yeah, so I wonder if this is just a theory. If after this virus was created, if Primrose was the delivery method, and they all went in different areas around the globe to release this.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I wonder if there's anywhere in the world that is somewhat safe from the apocalypse. I wonder.
Yeah,
like some country or something.
I think if just because we didn't get that answer, I would bet that Major General Beale knew that. Like if there was a safe place, I guarantee he knew where it was.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move into our next article.
Okay.
And this one says The Walking Dead season 12 would face an impossible problem after the last 3 spinoffs.
Okay. Yep.
Would you be, this is more like, I don't know that we're going to go through the article. I just wanted to talk about the whole idea of a season 12. Could you imagine like a season, like the main, bringing everybody back from the main show that survived? And we could see like Ezekiel and Aaron, and we could like see the reaction to Rick being back.
I think that's very possible. I think that's something that they should do. I think that's something they're thinking about. I don't know whether it'll just be in a completely different spinoff or if they'll actually add a season 12, because the whole reason why they didn't want to add any more seasons is because they didn't want to be affiliated with Netflix anymore with having to pay them their share of the money they're making from the show.
I did not know that.
What I heard. I don't know if that's true for sure, but I just heard that.
Okay. It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think it would be really neat to see all of these, the spinoffs maybe have like 1 or 2 seasons, or, I mean, well, Daryl Dixon and Dead City maybe have 2 seasons, 3 seasons, and then end each one of those spinoffs with how those characters get back to what would be the, whatever they would call a season 12.
Yeah. What I think would be even more cool than that would be like, instead of, doing the 3 spinoff, do all 6 of the spinoffs. So like, it's like the Dead City, the World Beyond, just all of them, including Fear the Walking Dead, and have every single character from all the entire franchise come together to make a last final season for the main show, The Walking Dead. That would just be probably the absolute best they could probably ever do.
And see, I don't know if they'll call it The Ones Who Live, but I do think we could see a whole lot more story with Rick and Michonne, as now they have the air power behind the CRM. I mean, I would think in a lot of ways, Rick is still, he's going to be pretty high up in the CRM if he wants it. And that could connect the world. I mean, that could connect the World Beyond characters. That could connect, Madison at Padre, and maybe we could see like where Morgan is. See, I want to know where Morgan is, because they hinted at Morgan coming back so hard in The Ones Who Live. I was so sure that we were going to see Morgan.
And then they just didn't show anything of him. Like, because, especially in the last episode that he appeared in Fear the Walking Dead, he said, he was going to go and find Rick with his daughter or whatever.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then they never showed yet. They like if they really hint that in Fear the Walking Dead, because doesn't the same showrunner, doesn't he run that show too?
Well, so Gimple is like over the whole universe, so he has to have like say so in like, if you're going to end a character, I would think he would say, okay, you can't put these You can't throw these darts on this board and not connect them with the string.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't say that Morgan's gonna go find Rick, but then never actually show him. And I think that would be that should be more deserved to show them back together rather than even Daryl. I mean, Daryl, is a big character. I'd rather see that anyway. But I think for the show, that would make more sense to have them as a final, meeting would be with, Morgan, because he was there with him, at the very start of the outbreak.
Yeah, I mean,
as soon as he woke up.
Yeah, that's a reunion that to me has to happen. If there's going to be more Rick story, we have to see Rick and Morgan.
Like, I wonder if we'll see, like, in the beginning of season 2, if we'll see, like, who she actually said on the phone, like who Carol actually said on the phone, like, like as like the starting point for
yes,
show them where Carol's been, because I'm assuming they'll show her first rather than Daryl first, just because she's new and it's whatever, kind of like what they did with Rick and Michonne. They showed Rick first, and then they showed Michonne after. And I just think that they'd show Daryl after, that whole thing happened.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense to me because, it's the subtitle is The Book of Carol.
Yeah.
So do you think Carol was talking about Rick and Michonne coming back?
See, I don't know if he was talking about them. Like, it would make sense now that we've seen, them, that they went back to the, back to the Commonwealth or whatever, but I think it could even be Morgan too, or Dwight even. Some people thought maybe Dwight too. Because I don't know if Dwight said anything about going back, or he was in the sanctuary at one point.
Yeah, he was in the sanctuary, and then they go back and help Madison, don't they?
Yeah, they go. Yeah, he goes back and helps Madison.
And then don't they say they're leaving? Don't they say that they're going to go to the sanctuary?
Yeah.
See, I can't help but I feel like Rick and Michonne's the easy answer there, and that's what I mean. And these writers are complex. They're good writers, so they wouldn't give us that. I don't think that. I just think it it's too easy for us to figure that it's Rick and Michonne.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if it's a potential villain. Like, does she go find Daryl because they needed Daryl at home to face something, and when she gets back, it'll be like Rick's there and Daryl, to face some new threat.
Yeah, and like it would have to be like, I'm trying to think of someone that was a threat in the past that she could have said that came back.
See, I wonder if they were talking about whoever it is that Hornsby was talking to, if it's not Primrose.
Yeah, it could. I actually feel like it could be that. That'd actually make a lot of sense too.
Because they would have been saying they came back to the Commonwealth because that's where Carol is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when Daryl's talking to her, I always just assumed that they're talking to Alexandria, but it's he was talking to Carol at the Commonwealth, right?
Yeah.
So it would be someone that came back there, and when Rick and Michonne, I kind of picture. Well, no, I mean, they would have known to go to the Commonwealth because Michonne talked to Judith, so I guess it could be them.
Yeah,
but it being The Walking Dead's a dark show, so I always go to like the darkest possibility of what it could be, and to me, I just think enemy. What do you think, Colt?
Yeah, I think I do. I definitely think it could be like an enemy. I do still think it might either be Rick and Michonne or maybe Morgan or something, but I feel like it could be Dwight too, because she didn't seem super happy or excited, and she didn't jump right to tell Daryl,
Yeah, that's right.
You think that's the first thing that she would say is, like if she found Daryl and knows that the thing could, go out at any point. You think she'd jump right to the conclusion after she said hi, Daryl, or whatever, and then jump right to Rick and Michonne are back, or Rick's back, or Morgan's back, or something like that.
Yeah, it would have made so much more sense.
I mean, yeah, and she, the other possibility of why I think it could actually be, an evil person, or something like that, or like a bad guy from the show, is because she was also saying that a lot of things have changed.
Yes,
a lot of things have changed here. So I thought maybe that could be Rick too, like maybe like after she had told everything about the CRM or anything like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so it could be basically anybody at this point. like out of those, four things.
So I want to talk about something else too now.
Yeah.
If we get another season of, say, The Ones Who Live, and it goes 3 seasons, do you think we will? Because I'm kind of thinking this is kind of how I think the show will. I think Rick's story will ultimately end because we were talking earlier about how the comic ends, and he gets shot by Pamela's son. What was his? Was it Sebastian?
Sebastian, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's who shoots him in the comic, and then the comic ends with Carl, of course, who's gone now, holding his child, telling about all the things they did. So with those characters gone and this going the way it did, could you see maybe the show, Rick's part of the show, Rick's story ending with Mason killing him, and then we see Judith or RJ tell him the story of the brave man to their child?
Yeah, I could really see that actually, but I feel like they would go like there'd be a lot happening to the show before that would happen. Like it'd be probably the end. It'd obviously be the end of everything, but like I feel like there's still going to be like 5 or 6 like seasons of each spinoff except for Rick's probably.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could see that being like the ultimate end game, and maybe Mason being reintroduced at some point. And
yeah,
if they could use the same character and we didn't know, like we would know who he was, the viewers, but the characters in the show wouldn't know who he was, but he would know who Rick was because I'm sure Rick's a legend now.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know if Mason would even know who Rick was, or no. I meant Rick knowing who Mason was.
Yeah. I bet he wouldn't. So I could see that being like an end of the road, like after all the spinoffs. And so if the show does come back, like this article says, like for season 12,
when things heat up, you don't just want a cold one.
Wow. Okay. We'll restart that part. Where was I? Yeah. So when the spinoffs are all over with and whatever they're going to call season 12, or if it's a new show, how many seasons do you see that new show, whatever it would be called, or if it's 12, could you see it like going? How many seasons would you see it going?
I could see, like, I know they wouldn't do 12 seasons of it, but they'd probably do. I would say probably a maximum of 6, probably.
Continuing to follow those, like all of our core characters. You mean?
Yeah. Yep. Like 6 total seasons.
That would be amazing. I mean, I could watch seasons of this forever. I've been watching since the very first episode.
Yeah. Well, actually, a cool story I have real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was that I was at my grandparents were the first people that ever showed me the show, and they were big fans of it. They watched it since season 1 had first released, like on their TV or whatever. But I hadn't seen it until around season 2, episode. I feel like episode 1 or 2, the episode that Carl gets shot was the first ever episode I'd ever seen. Like season 2.
Oh yeah.
That was my first ever episode. Yep, that was my first ever episode. And then I fell right in love with the show right after that, and I've been watching, everything since.
Yeah, it's great. I love the whole series. So sometimes I get asked this, so I'm going to ask you, Colt, before we kind of wrap it up. Which character in the whole Walking Dead universe do you think best represents you, and why?
Best represents me. Like, if I had to pick like a realistic character, I would probably say Carl.
Okay.
Just because of I'm relentless, I'm not super scared of a lot of things, and I just feel like I could have, did kind of what he did in his place.
Okay. That's a great answer.
Apocalypse happened.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, who would you best represent, do you think?
Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 answers here. I'm going to give you the answer the way that I would like to see myself and the way I probably would be. So I would like to see myself as Rick because, Rick's a badass and he's just Rick. I mean, that's about how you can put it. But I love my family fiercely the way he does. And I think that I could do what I had to do for them. Now, if I didn't have my family, I would probably be Eugene, a person who can talk a big game, but took a long time to get there. Because, you know, Eugene was kind of rough. He was a chicken for the longest time, but then near the later episodes, he really came around. He really grew. What?
Season 9 when he really grew.
Yeah. Was that the Whisper, the start of the Whispers?
Yeah, the Whisper arc. I think that's when he really started to grow. You know, like he was, you know, chicken crap from, you know, season 4, you know, like whenever he, you know, he came, you know, till, you know, like season 8 until he, you know, finally did something good, which was, you know, sabotage the Savior's bullets.
Yeah, and I wonder, I didn't know that was going to happen because I haven't read the comics, and I don't know if that's in the comics or not. But I've just been like a diehard show fan, and when the games, I mean, when it did like branch into video games, I got into that because I was a streamer, and so anything I just never read the comic books. But yeah, I don't know if he did that in the comics, but that was a great Eugene moment. Yeah,
it was probably like one of my favorite moments he ever had. You know, other than like, you know, like during the Savior arc, or not Savior arc, but the you know, the final finale. You know, how he was saying thank you to Rosita when she was passing away. You know, and how she was the one that really, you know, made him grow to what he was. You know.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts with Eugene. I also like the trial of Eugene when he was able to speak and kind of like you know, like talk about his shortcomings and you know, I really liked when he said he wasn't the one swinging the bat. Yeah, I really liked that part. But I really, that was such a strong scene between him and Rosita. And Rosita's another character. You know, like when she first came into the show, she was 100% just eye candy. Yeah, I mean, and she did. Kristen Serratos did a great job at that. Yeah, but really as the show went along, you saw her grow into so much more than just the booty shorts wearing hottie. You know. Yep. And at the end, she was a really strong character, and I hated that if we were going to lose her, I hated that we lost her in the last episode. Like, couldn't she just made it? You know. Yeah. I feel like I truly liked her character more like season 9 and up, because I didn't like how, you know, like sassy and stuff she was. Like, she was always, you know, branching out, you know, away from the crowd, and she got, you know, Olivia killed by, you know, shooting, you know, the bat, Lucille, you know, with a bullet that Eugene made, and how she made like Eugene go and make that bullet. Yeah. You know. And I think if I had to pick my favorite Rosita moment, it was when she defended Gracie and Judith during the storm when the walkers breached the wall at Alexandria. Yeah. From I think it was the Whisperers that kind of made that opening or whatever. Yeah, I believe so. Well, guys, let us know what you think. We're about a little over 30 minutes. I hope you have enjoyed this video. We're going to wrap it up here. You can find Colt on YouTube and on TikTok, and I will leave links in the description of this. Please go show him some love. He's gonna have his own kind of breakdown on some of this, and we're gonna do a lot of Walking Dead stuff together. So I know how much I like him, and I know if you like my stuff, you'll like his stuff. So go on over and show him some love. Colt, do you want to say goodbye or anything? Yeah. Everybody have a good day. Thank you for watching the video, and thank you for supporting me, and thank you for supporting Spectrum. It means a lot to all of us, and we put our hearts into this, and we hope you guys enjoy this so much. Thank you, guys. Oh, go ahead. Signing off. And my buddy right here is at 210 subs. Let's get him 230. And just from this video, it would mean the world to me if you could do that. I know what it's like to grind on YouTube, and when you see someone like Colt who makes quality content and puts his heart into it, you just want to support that. Because he's not gonna make you something clickbaity. when he makes it, he does stuff that he puts his heart into. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.